We turn our focus back to hoops now as we're joined by former Knick great and Hall of Famer Bernard King, author of a new book chronicling his career from Fort Greene to Springfield, you might say. Mr. King, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Eamon. Appreciate being here. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, since the title of the book is Game Face, let's start there. I remember once interviewing Hubie Brown about coaching you, and he said he demanded the ball with his eyes. It was a great quote from a coach. How much do you think growing up in Brooklyn defined who you were on the court and that trademark intensity?
Well, it really was a foundation in the beginning of my basketball life, in my life's journey. And I recall as a young kid in the third grade taking my first shot, at least trying to make a basket, along with so many other kids that were in the lunchroom of my elementary school. And they each gave up aiming, decided to walk away. And I was determined to make that shot. And it finally went into the basket. And it felt like cotton candy, that joy, that jubilation, that feeling. I wanted to feel it over and over again.
What were your emotions when coming home to play for the Knicks became a reality for you?
To hear that the New York Knicks are interested in signing you, your hometown team, the team that you dreamed of playing for as a kid. We used to emulate Earl Monroe, Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, Dave DeBusschere. That was my favorite, that guy, because of his rebounding. And you would do that on the playgrounds, and to know that I would be representing the history of the franchise every time I put on that uniform, representing the heart and soul of the city, that was incredible. It was like eating cotton candy.
That must have been great. Now, what was the key for you to have back-to-back 50-point games on that road trip in Texas?
Well, you know, the foundation of all of that was my preparation for playing, and how I mentally prepared each and every single night, and how I looked at the game of basketball. I was very analytical, so I developed different grids on the court, on the left and the right, and from the center of the floor up to the top of the key. And that's where I operated from offensively. And so that's what I utilized when I scored 50, and it worked. And you know what really worked, though?
No.
I had a milkshake.
That's right, and that's in the book.
And cookies before that first game. And so the second game had a milkshake and cookies and a turkey sandwich, replicating the first night, and was able to go out and get 50 again. And I knew then in that game there was a move I executed where I came down the floor after getting a rebound against Mark Aguirre, and I brought it up. And traditionally I didn't play this way, but I put the ball behind my back as he reached, and I was able to effectively take the jump shot and get fouled. And I thought at that very moment, if I could do that, I'm really at my peak. And that point, I thought I was the best player in the game.
You injure your knee on a freak play against the Sacramento Kings, and the term then and now is blow out your knee, tear your ACL. How determined were you? Everyone's telling you your career's over, you can't come back from this injury. How determined were you to make it back?
I was as determined as I was as a young little kid named Little Spall, that was my nickname, that used to run across the Brooklyn Bridge and run across those boards, training, conditioning myself with my thumbs up, pretending I'm an African warrior, delivering a very important message to my tribe. And that's what I mentally would focus on as I tried to face that challenge of running full speed across the Brooklyn Bridge and back. And so that's where I took myself from an emotional, mental standpoint. And 3 doctors told me I'll never play again. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. I'm from Brooklyn. My heart's from Brooklyn, so I knew I was going to come back. It was just a question of whether I can make it back to being an all-star, and that was my goal. That was my objective from day one. And I said to management, just put all the equipment in my home, send a physical therapist to my house every day, and I guarantee you I'll be back.
Obviously, it's an amazing book about determination in your career, but I want to talk about the Knicks now. What would your advice to Kristaps Porzingis be about being the man and the leader of the Knicks and how to handle New York on and off the court?
Well, as the captain of the team, as I was, you have to understand the leadership position that you're in. And your responsibility is not just to play in a singular fashion, to be very team-oriented, make sure that you involve everyone. He does that on a nightly basis. I watch the Knicks, and he's certainly a joy to watch. It's amazing that at 7'3", he can hit the three-point shot beyond the arc. I mean, 3-4 feet beyond it. It's amazing. Then he can go into the low block and shoot over and other players. At that height, he doesn't have to worry about having a shot block. But playing in New York City, there's nothing like it in the world. To play in Madison Square Garden in front of those fans is truly special. And I still have a very wonderful relationship with the fans of New York, and I appreciate the warmth that they show me during the times that I'm here in New York City.
Well, we appreciate all the memories going to the Garden and watching those games, and we can relive them in the book. The name of the book is Game Face. Great holiday present for the Knicks fan in your family. You got to come back, though. I didn't even get to ask you about Fast Break with Gabe Kaplan.
Hey, you remember that? That was fantastic. You know,
Blue Chips before Blue Chips.
He took me to Playboy Mansion.
Oh.
I won't get into
now
that.
We definitely
You can read about that. You can read about that in the book. And the book was done with Jerome Preisler, who's written 30 books, 9 international New York Times selling books. Incredible writer, and we wrote it as a fiction story, but there's no fiction in it. It's my life, but we wrote it with fast pace, so it's a page turner. So please pick it up.
Great stuff. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.